Hello everyone. Another couple of points I want to touch on. It's only going to be a short video, hopefully, this one, but I get talking too easy. I want to talk about a few different things, all regarding to the Law of One and Ra's channeling sessions in the 1980s. Basically, I'm going to start with the pyramids. And how high density entities can manipulate things and make things to be. Now, the pyramids, I mean, there's so many different theories on them, and this is what I believe to be true about them. They were made, well, Ra suggests he made them in about 13,000 years ago, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Approximate years of 13,000 years ago, or 13,000 years BC. Now, in the construction of it, he suggests there was no actual mining of the stone. The actual building of it was made by the sand from underneath the Sahara, well, the start of the Sahara Desert on at Giza. Now, it was sort of much like if by magic there were what we would call it in our third density existence. It was something like of magic. Now, when you're in these high level densities, you can manifest anything you want. I mean, I believe when he built the pyramids, Ra was in the fifth density, so he could manifest anything instantly, and it just was to be. And by lowering his vibration to the lower densities and manipulating these densities, this is how their high density beings are able to do this. We have. We have that technology, but it's very limited in the third density of what we can do with it and how we can achieve it. Excuse me. Right. I mean, the Great Pyramid, there's about 2.5 million separate blocks. Most of them about 2.5 tons. But there's some that weigh in excess of 70 tons, and I believe there's base stones underneath it that will be over 100 tons. Now, we had the pleasure of going to Giza some time ago with me and Ashley. Went to Giza a few years ago for Christmas and a holiday, and we went to the Great Pyramid, and one of the most surreal things you will ever see. It was just breathtaking. I want you to just picture this. We were driving through Giza, and we were on like a dual carriageway sort of motorway, maybe 3 or 4 lanes, and there's cars zipping all over, zipping here and everywhere. The traffic's murder, you know. And I just like looked over to the left, and there they are. You know, we'd had like a 4-hour, 5-hour drive before this, because we were staying down in Hurghada. Now, we had about a 4-hour drive, and I just looked over and I thought, wow. You know, I nearly swore there, but just wow, just breathtaking, you know. For that very split second I seen them, I was moved, you know, and for years I've watched videos, Egyptian stuff, and I've been interested in them, you know, but when my eyes actually saw them, I've never seen anything like it. I've also been to the pyramids in Chichen Itza a long time ago, in Mexico, but I didn't get that quite movement of them. But the Great Pyramid, I was still moved by the ones in Chichen Itza, of course, but more so with the Egyptian ones. Anyway, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. Anyway, so these fifth density beings who built this Ra, who built the Great Pyramid, just manufactured them out of the sand, maybe it's like magic, what we would describe as magic. The stones appeared one by one, all appearing, forming out the sand. There's no signs on the pyramid of, tool marks or anything of such degrees. For this reason only, they weren't built with tools. They weren't built with human hands. So, what I mean, it seems so unbelievable. I grasp that, and I truly believe that this is the way they were built. And modern day Archimedes doesn't agree with this. Says it was built by a man only. Yeah, 2,000 plus. Modern day Archimedes says the pyramids were built between 4,000 and 2,000 years ago. There's all different variations of it, but about that sort of time frame, modern day Archimedes. Now, this Ra was saying, no, they're a lot older than that. 13,000 minimum, 15,000 sort of time frame. Now, I wasn't there. Most people I'm going to speak to weren't there. So it was a long time ago. I mean, we seen this when we seen the Sphinx. We seen signs of water erosion on the Sphinx, but it was harder to detect. Or I believe I seen signs of it on the Great Pyramid. Now, we had a great flood about 10,000 years ago of that area. So the water erosions on the Sphinx do sort of in line with more Ra's belief of what Ra's saying in the Lord of One. So it leads me to believe more that, Ra built these pyramids. He's got an extensive knowledge about them and really understands what they were for and what they were used for. I mean, I'll explain what Ross said about what they were used for. They were to raise the vibrations. We've talked about this third density. They were trying to raise the third, or they did raise the level, the vibration of the earth and the people here way back then. Now we've gone through that time frame, we've gone around that cycle, 25,000 year cycle. The earth is already vibrating at this fourth density level anyway, so they're useless right now in this time space. Well, I say not useless. I'm not too sure if they could raise the vibration to fifth density of the people. But basically, when they were built, when they were constructed, they were to go from the third density to the fourth density. Now, this is, we've gone through that process now, and time's gone that way, so we don't really need them anymore, and it's, they're not going to be used for anything. Now, the moon, I want to talk to you about the moon. There's all sorts of theories on what the moon is and why it's there and why it's landlocked to Earth and one thing and another. What we get the dark side of the moon. I'm not too sure if everybody knows this, but the research is out there if you would like to do it yourselves. The moon has been occupied, according to Ra, for millennia. And other planets. Mars, for instance. Mars, still to this day, is occupied. We can't always see that so easily from Earth. But today there's beings living on the moon, living on Mars. All over the cosmos, to be totally honest. We've got Antarctica. We've all heard the Admiral Byrd story of Antarctica, what's been going on down there. On the Earth today, we have people of, or life forms of fourth and fifth density living down in Antarctica. And some living, I believe, in between the US, let me think, west side of US and over that side, in between the US and Africa, basically. In that, somewhere in that sea, there's, I'm not too sure if it's quite landform based, but there's life form out there. And what I will say about the life form down in Antarctica, I mean, why don't we see these? Why don't we know about them? Some people do, and some people keep it from you. But I believe this has been known to the leaders of our countries and whatnot. It's been known for some time, maybe it's 50, 100 years. I'm not entirely sure on that, but there's definitely life form down there. There's been all sorts of presidents going up there visiting. I know Obama went there shortly after he was inaugurated, whatever the word is. Inauguration, whatever it is. So I believe Obama went down there, and other presidents as well. We've got a few different races living apparently in Antarctica, in like fourth and fifth level densities. The Palladiums, I believe, are down there, and the reptilians, another race of life form, intelligent life form down there, and they're operated in fourth and fifth density, I believe. So we've gone over the pyramids briefly, we've gone over the moon briefly, and we've mentioned Mars lately. Life forms are absolutely all over the cosmos, everywhere, it's everywhere. And I know what people are thinking, well, why don't we see them in the skies? They have great technology as well. That's technology that third density people just can't understand, can't comprehend. Anti-gravity, oh God, where do I start? Anti-gravity, they've got crafts that can perform right angles at 4,000 miles an hour, just perfect right angled corners, zipping all over. I believe a lot of that stems from the anti-gravity stuff and how they can perform these movements that our planes and things just can't keep up with. The speed isn't phenomenal, how it happens. But you only have to scratch the surface and you can see all these RAF reports and the military reports of all sorts of phenomenon, shall we say. It's been around for years, and will be around forever. But this other life form is sometimes people get frightened over it. I'm assuming people will get frightened and think, oh God, what if they kill us? And I want to just point out to people, if you were walking in the woods and you step on an ant, do you really care of that ant? Some people do, some people don't. Most people just step over it and keep on walking and not have any consciousness of that ant. So that's what it's like for these people, these higher beings in higher densities. They don't really want to kill you, but they could if they wanted to. They just walk and just do what they want to do. We can't say We wouldn't, we'd be gone if they wanted. If they wanted to kill us, we'd be gone. Forget about it. We can't fight this. I mean, we've seen also. I want to talk about what's going on with the moon, and in my opinion, what's been happening there. The moon. We haven't been to it. A manned mission hasn't been to it for around 50 years. And that 50 years is up 22. Alright? What do you think we're going to see in the year 22? Well, I think there'll be possibly a disclosure, maybe, but we will see more phenomenon from the moon. We'll be going there visiting it easier. I think that there's people talking out there. I think Elon Musk's doing a thing where you can go there in 2022 of next year. So I think I'd like to do that. I'm sure that'll be something only offered to, available to really rich people. But I'd like to do that. That'd be a bit special, wouldn't it? A trip out to the moon. Anyway, nice chatting with you all, and one love. Peace and love.